Hi, everybody. I am Levi, Christy's better half. Welcome to my takeover. I'm just kidding. Christy is with Chuck today. They are busy napping, I think, or something like that. I don't know what they're doing. But, anyways, we got a project today, and she asked if I would take you along with me while I work on this project. Our project today, we got to work on our water system. We had a bit of an issue the other night here. Our water hose busted the other night in the middle of the night. I'm not exactly sure what happened to it. I suspicion that it got a little bit colder than we were anticipating, and I left it hooked up, which the water hose froze, busted the line. The water was left on, and it drained our tank on our spring tank. So we have a couple different water systems on the farm that we use. We have a few different wells that goes to our houses and some of the barns, and then we have a spring that does supply most of our water for our livestock. So our spring, it has a 1,800 gallon tank on it. The water being left on drained that tank, and got everything shut off the next morning or whatever, taken care of as far as that goes. However, it is still dry around here, so we have not been able. We've had enough rain to keep things satisfied as far as crops and that kind of stuff through the fall. It was dry over the summer, but still just haven't had a lot of rain, and so our spring is running slow. It's still running, I believe. We're going to check on that. It's just running slow. So the spring is currently not running enough water to keep up with 70 whatever sheep are here, and it's also watering the cattle too. So it's not got enough water to keep up with both of them. So we're going to switch things around a little bit, flip a couple valves, check on the water systems, make sure everything's good there, trying to regain water for the sheep, and we'll water the cattle off of the well for a little bit. All right, we're at the spring, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start at the source here and work backwards from there. So I want to make sure that everything is running effectively here. We do have water, and the pump is running and everything like that. So that is step number one. I want to make sure that is the case. A spring is just a natural vein of water that comes out of the ground, and we capture that vein of water, and in this case I put it in a holding tank, and we use that out of that holding tank to do whatever we need to do. So in this case, it's water our livestock. So we have an antique system right here. Okay, that is the spring, believe it or not. Okay, but the water goes into there. Okay, and then the water gets piped under the ground into there, which is a silt tank. That is to make sure all the water gets, or the dirt gets out of the water, that kind of stuff. And they coming out of this tank, and I built right back here. Okay, because the water was just coming out of this and dumping out onto the ground here. Okay, so I had this, or Christy and I, not just me, but we had this tank put in right here, which is an 1,800 gallon tank, and then on top of that is a riser. It just sits about 2 feet off of there, on top of the tank, and in the riser is the pressure tank and the pump for the water. So it all sits in there, and then that pump is connected to about 4,500 feet of water line, which goes to several different tanks and frost-free hydrants and that kind of stuff. Okay, so here we are at the actual spring, beginning of it. I'm going to try to put you down in here so you can see what's going on and see what's happening. Okay, welcome to the hole. So this is it. I don't know if you can really see down in there. That's the pipe. Okay, that's where the water is heading out.
There's the curved sandstone block. It's almost like a mini well, like an old well, okay? Because the reality is this thing, typically a shallow well we usually talked about would be like 15, 20 feet deep or something like that. This thing is probably about 3 feet deep is all it is. In the corner there is a block set sideways, kind of looks triangular there, and that is the inlet for the water. So it comes in here and then fills this hole, goes into the pipe there, and onto the silt trap. Okay, so I have got down in there. I cleaned some leaves out and that kind of stuff that was around the pipe. Really wasn't too bad. Water was still flowing. Cleaned that out. It's going to flow a little bit better than what it was, but just trying to help things out. Down in here, where the door goes, that's all kind of dirty and gunky down in there. So I'm just going to clean that out first, and so we can put the door back on this, and we are good to go. I always do keep a flathead screwdriver in my pocket just in case. No, I'm kidding. I really don't do that. Hey, you alright, guys? Sorry about that. Turns out I knocked you off the rock. Literally, you were on a rock. So, putting the door back on. Please hold. Your call is very important. I'll be back with you after this brief intermission of putting this door back on. Ha ha! See that sassy door? Thought it was gonna win. Showed it, didn't I? Okay. Next is the silt trap. Let me turn you around here. Oh, nope. Hey, now you're turned around. Okay. So, I'm gonna take this off. Check out what's going on down here. There's the inlet pipe. Water goes in. Trash in the bottom. This is an overflow pipe, just in case. And yes, water is flowing into this pipe, which is headed to my tank. So everything looks positive there. Let's go check the tank. Okay, now we are at the riser. This is the riser. We are standing on top of the tank right now. I'm going to take this riser off. We'll check out what's going on. Water in the tank, and everything's good there. See if there is much water in the tank or what. Tank had been run dry recently too by the cattle, so I just kicked the pump back on, trying to get it to pressure up and fill the lines with water. So see what happens from there. It's running. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. And it's stopping, which means that it's filling. Oh, there it kicked off. When it kicks off, that means it's pressured up. It's got a pressure switch on it. Once the PSI gets so high, the pressure of water, pounds per square inch is what PSI is. Once that gets so high, it kicks the pump off, and then as it's drained from or water runs, pressure goes down, and once it gets down to a certain point, the pump kicks back on. The pump just kicked back on, so that means that pressure dropped. It filled something. The stock tank is what it filled, and it's building back up again. Now everything's running good here.
What we're going to do is we're going to go shut some tanks off and run the cows on a different water source temporarily. We do have water flowing, just not a whole lot of water. So we'll try to bounce off of another water source. That way we can make use of both of them, and this can stay with the sheep. Yes, this is concrete. Yes, it is heavy. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna just shut the water line off. What we've done is we were way yonder over there, okay, with the spring, and the water line comes all the way over to here, okay, and comes to this point here, and then it turns and goes down. If you can see through the sun, the cows are right down in there right now. And there's a permanent tank right down in there, which they're drinking from right now. And so what we have done when we put this water line in, every once in a while throughout the water line, different legs and that kind of thing, we put a piece of Schedule 40, well, down in the bottom down there is a shutoff valve in the water line. And so right over top of the water line and the shutoff valve, we put a piece of 4-inch Schedule 40 pipe, and over top of it, which comes up out of the ground, I cap it with this, right? So it stays capped, but the cap doesn't get glued. And that way we can shut the water off in certain places. So I take my handy dandy 2x4 with a notch in it. I go down yonder, and I am not a multitasker like my wife. And so I go down, there's the bottom of it, put it on the pipe, and I simply twist it. Okay, the water is shut off now. So what that means, pull my pipe back out, since again I'm not a multitasker, I apologize. Okay, so I shut this off. So the water can go to this point from our spring, which is over there. Okay, the water can go to this point here, and it stops right here. Okay, from here down, there's no more water. So there's no water going to that tank right now from the spring. Okay, we're gonna make sure it still has water, but for right now, we shut this off, and we're gonna cap it back up, and this will allow, since I'm not got water going to the cows, this will allow the spring some time to catch up, fill our holding tank back up, and so that there is plenty of water for the sheep, and the cows can drink off of the well for a minute. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. Here we are, we're at the barn, and the guineas are round up. Hey! Can't you see a guy's trying to film here? Turns out the louder you get, the louder they get. Right there is a hydrant. And that hydrant is the end of the water line from our spring tank that we were working on, okay? So currently it's shut off because we shut the water off back there. That is the end of it though. And here, there's a hydrant right here, okay? And that one is off of the well that feeds this barn and some other stock tanks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm simply gonna hook a garden hose to this, and then a garden hose to that hydrant out there, and whoop, that hydrant out there, and hook them together, open them both up, and the well will back flush the water line to the tank that the cattle are using. when in doubt, use 2 hose washers. Alright, let's go check the stock tank and see what's happening. Okay, so now we're at the stock tank. Hello, Cal. As you can see here, the water level is down. It's down here. It's usually up here. Okay, so it is working. I have tested it. I stuck my finger down there. We do have water coming in here. So cows have water. Sheep have water. Happy cows. Happy sheep. Happy Levi. Okay, that is it for today. So thanks for joining me. By the way, this is just a temporary fix. But anyways, hope you enjoyed today's video. Like, subscribe. If you like me more than Christy, that's okay. Maybe I'll be back sometime. You can just let her know in the comments, so it gets her all pumped up, you know. And until then, see ya. Can you see me? Hello? Can you see me? I can't see you. Oh, Chris, you're gonna have some editing to do.